Hey guys, welcome to the Ask Dom That live show. This is a new show that we're starting. Thank you for joining us. No matter where you're catching us, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're doing a live show where I am going to be here with you guys 8 a.m. We started a little later today, just getting some of the technical issues wrapped up. But today, what are we going to be going over, along with every other show that we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time? We're going to get some news you need to know, the best 30 minutes of your day to start your day. So today we're going to be having some interesting conversations about oil, Venezuela. Of course, we knew it was about something other than drugs. But and then also some interesting news out of Instacart. Very, very cool. Even some slight things that you don't know are affecting you, but they probably are. So Instacart may be doing some interesting things there that might be affecting your day-to-day or shopping habits. We're going to get into some questions from the audience. It wouldn't be the Ask Dom That show if you didn't get a chance to ask me questions. And honestly, my entire platform has been around educating people with the information that I know. I can't tell you guys everything in the world. I can't tell you guys things that I've never experienced, but the stuff that I know, I am more than happy to share with you for free. All you got to do is watch the streams, like the channels, subscribe, do whatever button your platform requires you to click, just click it. And then lastly, we're going to be doing some farm updates. And that's our show today. So let's get started, guys. First thing first, news you need to know to make you a smarter conversationalist. Let's get into Fox News. I'm not a supporter of Fox News, but out of Venezuela, Trump orders blockade of sanctioned tankers to and from Venezuela. So let's say, what's Fox News saying? Let's do it.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Shauna Kalafi with some breaking news from President Trump. He is ordering a blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers into Venezuela, ramping up pressure on Maduro. This is a post from President Trump on Truth Social just a short while ago. He said, Venezuela is completely surrounded by the largest armada ever assembled in the history of South America. It will only get bigger, and the shock to them will be like nothing they have ever seen before. Until such time as they return to the United States of America, all of the oil, land, and other assets that they previously stole from us.
All right, let's end it there. That's fine. All right, so this show is not a political show, guys. This is a economic, entrepreneurship, and just general life show. Obviously, politics plays a big deal in the show, but I'm not going to be overtly political one way or another. But these things do affect us. And why is this important? Well, the largest armada, like there's the USS Gerald Ford, which is the carrier strike group, is in the Venezuelan waters. How is this going to affect your day to day? All right, like it started off as a drug raid on boats. Now it's getting to what I suspected previously, which is oil, crude oil. What you need to know is that Venezuela has 20%, roughly 20% of the global reserves for crude oil. Global. So when I found it interesting here that the president, credit to him for just saying the quiet thing out loud, says, let me see here if I can read on the screen. Until such time as they stop their drug trafficking. No, I'm joking. That's not what he said. He says until such time as they return to the United States of America, the oil, land, and other assets that they previously stole from us in Venezuela. Like, they stole land from us in Venezuela. Like, I don't know. If you're from Venezuela, by the way, and you're tapping in, let me know what you guys are thinking. And I mean, maybe this is helping the people there. Maybe you guys hate Maduro. Obviously, he's a tyrannical dictator. I get it. Blah, blah, blah. Let us know what the sentiment is on the ground. Are people supporting this action? Are people like, hey, you know what? We need a change. However it comes, we welcome it. And if you're here, if you're having issues with your groceries, if you're having like, man, it's the end of the year, Christmas shopping, I can't buy the gifts that I want, but thank God we're blocking Venezuelan oil. Is that the sentiment? And what land, oil, and items did Venezuela steal from us? It's a 30-minute show, guys. I can't get into all the details, but here's what you need to know. A couple key points is that Venezuela before had another dictator, call it that, Chavez. They had agreements with oil companies, Exxon, BP, Chevron, and those oil companies, like all around the world, they extract oil from Venezuela. They own some land, but they had a majority of the profits, right? Like, meaning, I don't remember the exact numbers, but let's say they would get 60% of the profits and the country would get 40, or 75-25. Chavez decided, you know what, this agreement no longer works for us. We want to make sure that it's an even split, or that our country and our people get more for our oil that you're taking out of the ground and you're selling it. That infuriated a lot of people in the State Department, the United States. So now that those agreements are still in place 25 years later, I think that's what Trump is referring to here, that they want those rights to extract the oil at a better price for the United States. Because this blockade, there's about 40 to 80 ships that it's affecting, 40 to 80 ships that are not going to be able to get the oil in or out of Venezuela. Ships are turning back around. Prices of oil are already going up 1%, albeit it's not the craziest, but it's only one day. So we're going to see how this affects global trade. Honestly, it can get messy, but it's kind of interesting to see that it's because of stuff that Venezuela stole from us, when they were in reality, and Trump knows this because he's a deal maker, self-proclaimed there, but deal making nonetheless. Venezuela was trying to make a better deal for themselves on the oil. And now, because that deal wasn't so favorable to some people, they got some warships in their backyard. Right? Like, so be careful who you make deals with, people. I guess that's the economic lesson of the day. But who is still able to get in? You see that Chevron, it's a British-based company, whatever, can still get their ships in and out. American-based companies can still get their ships in and out. No problem. It's everybody else that's a problem, right? So this can get a little messy. Obviously, it can get very political. It can even be defined as an act of war by many constitutional experts and blah, blah, blah. So we'll see. We'll see how this affects everything going on. But it is all about the oil. It's all about the money. And I'm interested to see how that's going to affect the markets here in the coming weeks and or months, especially around the holiday season, where global shipping and oil is going to be needed. If you live in the city, you probably have electric heat. But for so many people in the outskirts, they use oil. I had a house, a rental property that used oil heat, and it was expensive. So I could just imagine, no matter what side of the political aisle you are on, I don't really care about too much politics. I care about what affects my pockets. And if this is going to affect my pockets, then obviously I care about it. So that's the Venezuelan oil situation. It's not about drugs. It's about oil and money. What's next? Instacart, algorithm to inflate your grocery bill. This is interesting from Instacart. So Instacart has this platform. If you're not familiar with Instacart, I don't use Instacart too much. I sometimes like breaking up my day by going to pick up my own groceries. If my wife is watching this, she will say that she picks up most of the groceries, which I can't deny, but I like to think that I play my part every once in a while. But Instacart has this platform where you can go on, shop for your groceries, blah, 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 order it, they show up at your door. And you just think that the price that you're paying is the price that it's at the stores. You think that the price that you're paying is what your neighbor is paying. That, Cheerios is $4.99 for everybody in your area, right? I'd understand it if it was $4.99 for you guys in your area and $3.99 in like a really small town with not so much infrastructure. But what if you found out that Cheerios is $3.99 for you and $2.99 for your neighbor right next door, or somebody in your house? Instacart is using AI to change the prices of your groceries based on what they think you are willing to pay. If they now, all of those cookies that you accept blindlessly, yes, accept cookie, accept cookie, accept cookie. How much information do they know about you now? A lot. And what are they using with that information? They have this AI startup called, I think it's Eversight or Insight Ever or something like that. Somebody will get that to me. Eversight by Instacart, which might become bigger than Instacart as a company anyways, because what are they doing? They're using Eversight AI to track your digital footprint all across the web to see what your propensity is to pay for a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more on the same item at the same store. How is this going to affect your grocery bill? A study showed, the study that the people that found this out showed that this might increase grocery bills for some people by $1,200 a year. That's an extra about $100 a month just by those increases there. Now, Instacart's claiming, their statement said that it was randomized and they're experimenting, they're transparent with it. They're not, they're lying to you. Because the study showed that if it was random, then you would get the math would work out where some people get the lowest price, some people will get the highest, but it will always average out. It showed that most people got higher prices. It wasn't, only about 8% of the people, and it's several hundred of people that did the study got the lower price. So it's very interesting what Instacart's doing here. I don't know how this is going to affect grocers, especially those who are going to see reduced sales. People are going to say, man, I don't want to pay for this. I don't know how many people are cost conscious on their groceries. Or is this going to shoot Instacart in the foot? Because an article like this, even if the item just went up a couple cents, now me as a consumer, I'm like, I don't want to use Instacart. Maybe the item would have been just a couple cents more, but I will now go to the store and pick it up because I don't trust the institution in which I'm working with. So this could hurt Instacart. It could hurt their clients, the Krogers, the Acmes, the HEBs, whoever they're working with, because consumers have always thought that buying online will get you the better price. That is the whole e-commerce society here. You shop online, Amazon pioneered this. People are going on Amazon because it'll be cheaper, faster, more efficient, right? And the returns are easy. What if it's not cheaper? What if it's not faster? And then some of these how many of these delivery drivers you're seeing that are doing suspicious stuff, so it's not as reliable. It's taken away a lot of the incentives to purchase online, but we're going to see what that comes about. But also, really, the danger in this, and I'm going to extrapolate this out. The danger in this, it's not for the 30 cents that they're charging extra, or they charge up to $2 extra on peanut butter. I don't even need peanut butter. But I'd be pissed if I found out that my neighbor is paying $2 less for peanut butter than I am. Then I have to be happy because that means I make more money than my neighbor. But I'd still be pissed because we live in the same neighborhood. But really, what's the danger? All right, this is just groceries. They're going to start with groceries. What else? You're going to pay more for your car next time because you make more money? You're going to pay more for your house, right? Like the price that you see on Zillow is going to say, hey, Dom's credit is this and this is that, right? Like we're going to show the price of this house being this, but and then somebody who makes more or less, their price is going to be that. We already know that they do it with plane tickets. The problem is it's no longer, it's taken away from economics, basic economics, which is supply and demand. Supply and demand. If there's more supply than there's demand, the price goes down. If there's more demand than supply, then the price goes up. This is saying no. It's simply user preference or propensity to buy. It's personalization per user. We have all the material. We have availability. But guess what? It doesn't matter. We're still going to charge you the higher price because we think you're going to pay for it. So what else does this affect? It affects so much more down the line of your everyday that you might not even realize. Everything that you buy, can now be tailored, price specific to you with startups like Eversight. So just be careful. Let's keep an eye out on it. Let's keep an eye out on it. So that's the news you need to know today, guys. If you're at the office, if you're at the water cooler, ask your compatriot there, how much was their grocery item? Start chatting about it. And ask them some political questions as well as what they think about the blockade. Yeah, let's see how HR likes that. All right. Okay. All right. So next segment here. Whew. What would I do if I started over? That's a great question. I don't know what user this one came from, but you guys, ask your questions. Let me know what questions you guys have. That has been the most amazing part of this whole journey is really speaking with you guys on the journey of entrepreneurship, the lessons, the successes and the failures. And knowing what I know now, what would I do if I started over? I would, sometimes I regret getting into real estate. Sometimes I really do. And when I say that selfishly, because I know that it's done well for me. It's been a blessing financially. It's been a headache emotionally. But I mean, on paper, I guess it's worked out. Hasn't worked out to the degree that I would love it to. I'm still having to do lives, right? I'm not in Bora Bora, still working. So, it's a long game. So I say that to say, if I started over, would I do real estate again? If I were to do it again, knowing what I know now, would I start with real estate? Well, remember, I started with a technology company. My technology company did application and websites. And that was really great because it put cash in my pocket. Real estate's a long-term game. Technology is, hey, I'm going to do this project. And if it takes me 4 weeks to get it done, 4 weeks, I expect to get my money. So that was a blessing. So, but that was always, you're always searching for the next thing. You're always searching for the next client. I didn't have a product. So this is going to tie into the overall answer. It wasn't until I started real estate that I realized, oh, there is passive income. I bought a house, house hacked, rented out the rooms, and money just kept coming in every month. It was an expense that I needed to have anyways. I needed somewhere to live. So I was going to have that expense anyway. So the rooms were just really supplemental. And then once I realized, I disassociated myself from that money, then I just saved it. So when it stacked up, I used that money to buy my next property. And that property paid for itself and some. And then I disassociated myself from that money, saved it. But a couple years later, I'm like, dang, I have a couple hundred tenants. That's interesting. So there was a benefit to it. But if I started over, here's how I would do it. We'll definitely get into real estate. But I wouldn't do a single family. Because I bought in Austin, Texas. It was a very hot market in 2017. And I was ahead of that market. So thank God, I did some good research and it worked out. Sometimes it's just a guess and check. So can't really take too much credit. Sometimes it's just circumstantial. But I realized that the market was primed for growth. But now 2025, after 2021 or 2020, 2021 climb, 2025 rental prices are down. So single family homes get affected a lot by real estate turbulence. So I would, instead of buying single family, I would really focus on getting a fourplex, four unit. I probably wouldn't start with anything less than 3, but definitely a 4 unit. The best cash flowing properties that I have are, the more units they have, the more cash flow it has. I know it sounds basic and juvenile at this point. This is here. This is actually a DC property that I have. Again, this is a 2 unit. It's going to actually have space for about the next lot, so it can actually have 4 units as well. But this single property made me, I think, maybe $300,000 over the course of a couple of years, right? Like and equity and all that. But you can't eat equity. I'll tell you that. You need cash. So I would definitely start with 4 units and rent out 3 of them. You can live in one. You can then later on rent that one. It is a sacrifice sometimes, especially if you're married, to make sure that your partner aligns with what you want, because essentially what you're going to show is like, hey, we're making money, but we're now like, we have these neighbors and whatever, right? You're not living in a nice suburban house with the gate and the yard. You're living in essentially a rental unit that you just own, but it's building up your wealth. Once I do those 4 units, I would then, maybe get 2 or 3 of those, or look into getting a little bit bigger apartment buildings. And I don't want to sound callous on it, right? But if you dominate your knowledge of real estate, if you really get to understand, here's how the market works, and you're not scared to invest. And when I say invest, not just your money, right? The reason I started off with dominating the knowledge is because if you're genuinely knowledgeable about it, you can invest other people's money too. Now, just be careful with securities and brokerage exchange laws and all that other stuff. But you can then start partnering with people to do larger units, 10, 20, 30 units. And that velocity effect of leveraging other people's time, money, and experience will get you more than you can do by yourself. Because I've been on this climb by myself for so long, and I've seen other people that went the other route and said, hey, look, I'm actually going to take the risk in partnering with institutional lenders, investors, or whatever. If you're working with an investor, that guy's not an idiot. That guy knows the risk of investing. That guy knows that he's putting his money to work with you so that he can make more money, but he can lose it. The whole point is, and you're not the only one that he's investing with, you need to leverage and deleverage in other aspects and diversify. But I was always a little tepid about doing that. Slow, steady growth, which is okay. I don't regret it, but I think I would have taken more risks in that effect to go bigger once I was ready. Because cash flow is probably the most crucial aspect of real estate investing that people really underestimate. They talk about the tax implications of the benefits, the tax benefits. Great, taxes are great, whatever. You can't eat tax benefits, right? You can't eat equity. You really can't eat money either. But money, it can help you eat. So I would focus on that. This is equity doesn't help with a situation like this. It does, knowing that this is a tenant. This is how they left it. Guess what I need to fix this, to get this ready? I need cash. I need cash flow. Right? So and I played so much into the equity game that I would probably focus more on cash flow. When I get that cash flow, I would then really reinvest that into a digital AI product. It doesn't have to be a great product. I would take down my real estate cash flow. Some people just stay in the real estate world, whatever. But it never happens when there's a bubble, when there's a market cap, when there's a bad investment, not diversified enough. And then all of a sudden people hate real estate. Well, it's because you stayed in one lane for so long that it became kind of dumb and you didn't diversify. So I would then parlay that into an AI product, because AI is a hot topic right now. It might be a bubble. Who cares? Just make sure you get in on that bubble before it pops. And you need cash for that. Now, if you're an institutional investor, or if really refined in your economics standing, you can probably leverage equity and other assets to also get that going. But whatever, take that away, keeping it simple. I would create an AI product off the shelf to sell to anybody who is willing to buy it. And trying to take advantage of this AI hype. Nobody wants to be left behind. That's fine. Sell the picks and the shovels. Picks and shovels. Do I care about okay, maybe the bubble is gonna burst in the future? Well, just don't know. You're such a small player in this game. You're not gonna make an effect on the bubble bursting. You're such a small player. Just make sure you get in while it's hot. And then don't over leverage. Don't get too greedy. Make sure you understand the process. Make sure you understand. Don't go with the hype. Make sure you have a product that offers real value. And you don't have to know everything. You don't have to be the expert. What did I say? Cash flow on my real estate deal so I can invest in hiring, I wouldn't even say experts, right? But because AI experts, $200,000 a year, some of them. But people that really know. Core Atlantic is a product that, this is what we're doing. Core Atlantic, a product that helps companies automate their business insight and vision alignment. This is something that we're investing in rolling out to people and companies that have employees, that have organizations that are working on different products, and sometimes they get misaligned. You come out of these meetings thinking, oh, we're going to be going this route. We're all going to be, this is our sales objective. This is our operation or scope, standard operating procedures. This is how our accounting works. This is our compliance regiments. And then you as a business owner, executive, thinks that everybody's on the same page. This is what everybody's working on. And you find out that it's not. And it's costing your company thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of dollars. So we've worked, and now I've taken my position to invest in this to make sure that we're also players in this AI game. It's taken me now 13 years to get here. But if I knew what I know now, I probably would have shaved about 10 years off of that journey. So that's what I would do if I had to start over. I would certainly invest in real estate again. There's always an emerging market. The good thing about real estate is that there's always somebody getting divorced and selling, getting older and selling, just growing their family and selling, just getting tired and selling. So there's always a seller. Then I would take that. I wouldn't get too greedy. I would diversify into an AI-based product. Let me know if that helps. Let me know. And let me know what your ideas are for an AI-based product. Let me know what your ideas are for the best real estate markets to invest in. And what did I do with that? Well, then, of course, everybody knows if you follow the Ask Domnat show and the Ask Domnat channel, you know that I diversify my real estate holdings by investing in a farm. And here is the last segment of our show, some TECA Farm updates. Well, we're in New Jersey, and it's December, and this is what the farm looks like right now. This is what the farm looks like. It's absolutely beautiful. It's scenic. It's snowing. It's difficult. This is our third year now, but this is really our first operational year. And the snow has caused mayhem on the farm. We have livestock. We have our sheep and our goats. Unfortunately, the goats didn't fare too well. We had some casualties or mortalities, whatever, on the goats. They didn't fare too well with the snow. We did give them shelter, but I think we failed in the bedding and the heat lamp. I don't know. The sheep did really well. We have Katahdin sheep. They did well. The chickens did well. The peacocks, surprisingly well. And the rabbits, very well. What we are having a hard time with, obviously the goats, we run a glamping operation. It's hard to glamp with this. It looks beautiful. I love it. And people like coming out and seeing it. Sleeping out here, the tent, we have yurt tents and canvas tents. So we're trying to really pivot and see, okay, what opportunities, we can't grow anything unless it's in grow houses. And grow houses cost money. There's also warming considerations. There's lack of sunlight. There's, we're completely off the grid here. So even our solar panels aren't getting enough light to keep things charged sufficiently. So you really have to make hard decisions as to what do you use your electricity on, because people, when they come out, they want to see the string lights and the beauty of the farm. But that takes electricity that we can probably save and use to use the grow lights. Right? But people don't care about the grow lights. They care about making it Instagrammable. So winter is definitely challenging. I put out a survey on TECA Farms seeing if people want to come out and just enjoy the snow. Surprisingly, some people do. They do. So we're going to be having some people just coming out and just enjoying the time in snow and this winter laden experience, and possibly some dog sledding. We're going to try to partner up with somebody here, and we have 5 miles of trails on the property, so doing some dog sledding is very feasible. And we're just going to try to make, really, this is what entrepreneurship is about: pivoting, making sure that you find those hidden gems and opportunities. It's not easy. If it was, everybody would be doing it. But ultimately, if you want to know more and how it turns out, how we figure this problem out, how we solve it, you will have to turn into the next episode of the Ask Domnat show, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. That is it for our show today. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching it live, or later on if you so did choose to do so. This is the best 30 minutes of your day, so I appreciate you for joining me. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching the Ask Domnat show.